Do you ever feel like your left hand has betrayed you when you're playing the piano? Then this video is for you. Most piano players struggle with their left hand. And this has been true for me as well until I learned a couple of things that revolutionized my playing. So I'm here to share those tips with you. But before I go into that, I'm gonna first explain why we struggle with our left hand. Now, you might be like, I'm a lefty, so I should be fine. And that happens with my students too. They say, oh, I'm a lefty, so I should be fine. But that's not really how it works in piano. Now, piano as an instrument is melody biased on the right hand, which means that most of our melodies take place with our right hand. And that's because of where the right hand is on the keys. That register happens to be where we place our melodies. So our right hand is used a lot more, and it develops the kind of dexterity that left hand doesn't get to practice very much. So there is that one major reason why our left hand technique and playing develops differently than our right hand. And that's what we're gonna address in this video today. I'm gonna talk about left hand technique and what are the things that you can do to start working on your left hand and training your left hand to free it, because we want our left hand to develop the kind of freedom that our right hand naturally develops by practicing piano pieces. Hi, I'm Kristina Lee. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the basic left hand technique that you need to work on and watch out for. And that becomes the foundation of all your left hand skills. After that, I'm going to give you 3 exercises you can do to work on that left hand technique. I also have a free PDF download for those 3 exercises that I'm gonna mention. So check the link below and download the PDF after you watch this video. If you watched my video on Technique 101, you've already learned about the concept of alignment. I'm going to talk about that again here. When we play the piano, we want our wrist and our forearm to be behind the finger that we're playing. When we are playing finger number 3, for example, we want to create a straightish line. I say straightish because it's not going to be perfectly straight. We strive for straightish line. When we play the second finger, we create that straightish line. You see my elbow is way out here, right? So to make a straighter line, I have to like open up this part, the forearm, okay? Now, when we play our thumb, by the way, we use the corner of our thumb. We don't play like this. It's so funny when some of my young students play the thumb like this at the beginning. So we play with our corner, okay? And then we try to create this straightish line. So we don't want to do this. Now this is something that I see in piano students who never really got their technique right. If you see this in yourself and if you see this angle, please undo it. Straightish line, okay? Now, I started with third finger on purpose because we actually don't have too much problem with the third and the second finger. It's the fourth and the fifth finger that causes problem for us when it comes to alignment. Many people play like this. You see how this is not aligned? We want to align the wrist and the forearm with our fourth finger. And you see how my hand is kind of like almost like a 45 degrees with the way that the keys are lined. And that's absolutely fine. And my thumb is hanging out here, and that's absolutely fine too. You don't play the piano like this. We don't move around like this. We move around freely in any kind of direction. Okay? And because of my wrist and forearm being behind my fourth finger, instead of using my whole hand to play like that, I can use the weight of all of my arm to play my fourth finger. And that is the basic technique that this alignment allows you to do. Same thing with fifth finger. Don't do this. If you're gonna play piano like this, your ability to develop piano technique and to have healthy technique where you don't injure yourself is gonna be greatly risked. So you wanna do this, okay? And use the whole arm. So that's the first thing. You wanna work on that alignment. Now, second thing is to be aware of the direction your notes are going. For example, our notes can go from the middle of the piano to the outside, okay? Or towards the middle, okay? And for our left hand, when we're playing like this, that's going away from the middle, okay? And if we're going like this, we're going towards the middle. And we want to use a different kind of shape for the different directions. When we are going away from the middle, we want to use more or less flat-ish fingers, okay? We want to show our nails a little bit. Doesn't mean that you're going to play with flat fingers. You're going to play with flat-ish, slight curve. When we're going towards the middle, we want to show our knuckles more. So just as a byproduct, we're going to see less of our fingers. Now, this was probably the thing that helped me the most in developing my left hand technique. Really paying attention to the shape that I'm using for the direction I'm going. So right now I'm just using like 5-finger scale notes that are adjacent to each other, but it also works in different things, like if I'm going different notes, okay? So this concept just applies to all kinds of different passages and all kinds of different things that happen in a piece. And sometimes you don't have a whole lot of time to change that shape. And that's why we do exercises. Because when we do exercises, those movements become more ingrained in us and it becomes more natural and easy. So when we face that passage within a piece, we are just much more ready to deal with it in a natural way, an effortless way. Before I go on, I just want to explain why this happens with our left hand. It's because our hands are not parallel. When our right hand moves this way, and our left hand moves this way, which happens a lot, we have to use different kind of shape. But oftentimes our left hand, being the weaker one, maybe the follower in the relationship, often just follows what the right hand is doing. But that's exactly what you shouldn't be doing if you're going into the same direction. So be careful when we're talking about left hand technique to not just copy what the right hand is doing. So do let your left hand know what its role is and how it should be done. Do let your left hand know. That's my dad joke for the day. Ha ha ha. Okay, so now I'm gonna introduce you to those 3 exercises. The first one is just 5-finger scale, which I have a whole video about, and you can also watch that if you don't know your 5-finger scales or pentascales. I just use major pentascales. Now, when you're doing this, I would recommend practicing just the descending part first, which means that you're going to start from your thumb going down to the 5th finger. So again, when you're doing that, you want to show your nails a little bit more. And then at the end, lift with your wrist. And I would do that in every key. Maybe just move around. Another fun way to just do this is to go down and then use that last note as the beginning of your next 5-finger scale. So this would be in the key of F. And then if I use that F and put my thumb there, it's B flat. And by doing this, you're actually working on going counterclockwise on the circle of fifths. You might never heard of circle of fifths. If that's you, don't worry about it. I'm gonna make a video about the circle of fifths very soon, because this is gonna become quite important in going to the next step of your learning. By the way, I have a great beginner's course called Simple and Beautiful Piano for adult beginners. And in that video, not only do I talk about technique and technical exercises, I have original compositions in the style of ambient music that I've made for beginners, and you can start playing beautiful music right away. Also comes with 200 exercises on sight reading and different bonus modules where you can learn fun pieces. Happy Birthday, Passacaglia by Handel. So go ahead and check it out if you're still in the beginner stage, or you've been doing something for a while on your own, and you can really appreciate someone telling you how piano works and piano playing works in step-by-step fashion. The next exercise, when you become comfortable with your 5-finger scales, so I would just start with the descending 5-finger scales first, which means you're gonna start from your thumb to the 5th finger. And when you have really mastered that motion, I would make it into a full 5-finger scale, going down, and then show your knuckles. It's a rounder hand. Okay, and then you're gonna do the ending, which is a major chord, but it's gonna go change that direction, flatter, and then rounder. And then go ahead and play that chord, major chord. Let me show that one more time in the key of D. Flatter, rounder, flatter, rounder, and then the chord. When you play a chord like this, you're using 3 fingers, so you want to have like the center of balance kind of in the middle. After that, I would start working on my full scale. And I would do the same thing with full scales by starting from your thumb and going from the middle to the outer side of the keyboard, lower side in this case. So let's start with key of C. For the key of C, the fingering is 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're gonna end with 5. Okay, so you can just practice the fingerings by doing 1, 2, 3 together. I'm kind of wriggling my hand in the not the best technical way so that you can see the keys. Okay, but this is more like how you want to play those notes. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then 5. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, when you put your thumb under, that's called the throw. Okay, so when you align your hand, your thumb naturally kind of goes under your palm. You want to use that motion to just switch your thumb to G in this case. And I would recommend practicing the descending full scale from C to A, because they all have the same fingering. Like D would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So let's do one note at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then E. E has 4 black keys. You can either read the music or you can use the keyboard chart that I'm giving you to learn these notes. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and then F. Now I'm gonna put my hand here for F because having your either hand right in front of your body is not the best practice for your technique. Because we're focusing on our technique, we just wanna put our hands in the most optimal places until we get really used to doing these exercises. So F, 1 flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then G, think about your alignment, think about the direction, okay? And just keep your hand as relaxed as possible. We call this quiet hand, by the way. Let's do A. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So today I'm just gonna talk about the descending part. I am going to make another video on left hand. And in that video, I'm gonna go a little bit further on these exercises that I'm introducing you to so that you can get even more out of the exercises you're learning from this video. The third exercise is what I call feeling intervals exercise. And I talk about practicing this in my intervals video. So go ahead and check that out as well. Feeling intervals exercises goes something like this. In the key of C, by doing this exercise, you're teaching your hand and fingers the distance between these keys and ingraining them. Now today we're really talking about left hand technique and left hand issues. So for this one too, I would just start from your thumb. So it would be more like this. Now for this, you are going to use a different kind of technique called rotation. Rotation is like this, as if you're turning a doorknob, or you're turning, I like this image a lot, a light bulb. Because if you feel like you're grabbing a light bulb, you feel like you need to be a little bit more gentle. And so you're rotating your hand in that same kind of way. So starting with the thumb, you go down, okay? And then you do the second finger. That's just in the key of C. Now by doing this, you're just understanding the distances between the notes and teaching your left hand those distances all the way to the octave, right? Now when you're doing octave, you don't necessarily want to keep your hand stretched like this. You just want to be able to get to it. It really all depends on the size of your hand, size of your fingers as well. Some people can just be very natural and put your hand on the keys, and octave is, there's no stretch involved. For me, there's a little bit of stretch involved. So when I do an octave, I do end up moving my hand and the weight of the arm between the fingers that I'm playing rather than keeping it stretched like this. Okay. So I would recommend doing that in different keys as well. You can use the same ones that you use for the second exercise, the full scale. So let's do F, for example. Okay. We're going to start with F. Actually, before we start playing, we actually have this preparatory motion going up. It's another rotation motion, and then going down. And then after that, it's like a seesaw going back and forth. So I would just recommend starting with targeted exercises for your left hand. Now, that's not how we play the piano normally, right? There are a lot more issues with left hand that remains that I will have to talk about in other videos. But go ahead and start with this and try all three and really focus on the one that you feel like causes you the most trouble or confusion. And then when I have my next video, come back for it because we're gonna build on this exercise to play with the right hand. And especially I'm gonna talk about what you need to do when your hands are going in the same direction, which is where a lot of confusion is. I hope this was helpful. I hope you don't feel so insecure about your left hand anymore. I used to feel that way. So if you're one of those people, I totally get it. But as I said, if you do it right, this is gonna revolutionize your playing for sure. And I know this because I didn't only experience it in myself. I see it in my students all the time of all ages, all different hand sizes. They have a hard time with the passage, whether it's a beginner piece or Chopin. And I say, well, why don't you try this? And it's like magic. It like really solves a lot of issues. So good luck.